Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We attempted to do a live this morning, and we did. Miss Allie and I did do a whole entire live, and we realized I did not push one of the buttons that needed to connect the Zoom to live to Facebook Live. So we're redoing it, and we're learning too every day. So we really wanted to come together today to talk about some issues that we experienced this week in education. And I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Miss G. That's what my students call me. I'm a teacher. And Miss Allie is my partner. She's the language arts, writing, and college career counseling advising part of us. And I'm the math teacher and the curriculum coordinator and designer. And we're just helping families adjust their curriculum and adjust their lifestyles so that education is fun again and meaningful. And we're all kind of navigating these little troubleshooting issues, and they're happening like so fast and every day. So we wanted to come together and just talk about current cutting edge issues and things that we have already been talking about. Miss Allie and I collaborate quite often. And after like the fourth or fifth talk that we were having, I was like, even my girlfriends like from college that have kids, I think that everybody could benefit from the things that we're talking about. So I just wanted to share. Go ahead, and introduce yourself, Miss Allie.
Hi guys, so glad you're here to join us. I'm a mom and wife and teacher and counselor and encourager, and I'm super blessed to work with Kristen. She's amazing, and we have all these clients that we're helping, and we just wanted to create a space where parents can come and feel supported and have questions answered. So if you have specific questions that pertain to what we're talking about, please, you can put them down in the comments, or we can try and answer them live, or we can get to them and reach out to you after kind of this live session. So please don't be shy. We are not shy. You're going to see we're totally transparent, and we like to kind of expose our own flaws and learn from each other on this journey. So welcome. We're so glad you're here, and we're excited to kind of delve in.
I'm just double checking with our faculty and our team, make sure they can hear us still, and we're still live. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, I'm just going to assume that we are streaming and everything's good, is Christmas presents and some curriculum that we might want to put in for stocking stuffers or just some ideas. And Miss Sally had a really cool website that she just shared it with me. And I was like, all right, that's one we should just bring up with the kids and with their parents. One thing too that I'm suggesting to a couple of my students that are like second grade and younger are these base 10 number cards, and they go all the way up to 50. And so this is just a visual of the number 2, and then the child can actually trace it with their finger. And you can make them yourself on index cards. You don't have to buy them, but these are nice. They're like kind of like laminated hard, and they're just so perfectly put together. I think that they're worth it. And another cute, quick little tip is that the same curriculum that you might find on Amazon can be a lot cheaper on christianbooks.com. And that's a website that has a lot of curriculum. And I have saved like even $15 on one workbook. At Amazon, it was a $20 workbook, like a journal. And on the Christian Books website, it was $5.99.
And not all the books are, some of the books are secular. So don't be, if you're like, oh, I'm not interested in that line of curriculum, it doesn't apply to all books. So definitely want to double check.
Yeah, they have a lot. It's right. It's not just Christian based. Yep. Okay, cool. And tell us about Usborne.
Yeah, absolutely. So my kids are early readers. I have a 6 and an 8-year-old, and we love Usborne books. And so as part of Christmas presents each year, we usually get a few books for them and we read together, and their books are really quality and they're not super expensive. And they have a great website with lots of links and resources. And so I would encourage you to go onto Usborne. I'm going to comment the link below our video, so you can just go on there. Also, there's reps all over the nation, so you might want to reach out to your network and see if anybody is an Usborne rep in your family or group of friends. But it's a great resource for kids and families, and you'll be able to categorize books based on interest. And something that I usually encourage parents to do is look at books, and you want them to be aesthetically pleasing, but you really want to try and hone in on a topic that your child loves. So we want to be picking books that we love and that we want to read to them, but we also want to look at it from their perspective and pick out books that, you know, they're going to love on topics they're loving. So sometimes I am guilty of that, like, oh my gosh, I love this, I want my kids to love it. So I'm trying to be better about, okay, they're going to love this and I'm going to love watching them read this, right? So I would just encourage you to go on and kind of look around and see what you can find. And I think in the next couple of days, they should still get here by Christmas. So you have some time.
Okay, great. The biggest things with this COVID pandemic for us in teaching all these kids is getting books in their hands. The libraries are closed. The schools aren't even able to get you books from their resources in their libraries. So Usborne, it's a good quality book website, and they will help you too with a grade level appropriate. And with that, we're just always looking for vocabulary. So, yeah. All right. To increase their word, their word base and their vocabulary. Cool. So one of the things that I just wanted to talk about really quick with the reading is that, yeah, absolutely. I want you to read your kids about what you're passionate about and at your level. And then also the kids read what they're passionate about at their level. And so just the more exposure and passion and just the love of learning and the love of reading is really what I'm just trying to go for a lot. I have an 11-year-old who is not a reader, and he tells me, so I get to take a step back and try to put my mind in his perspective and in his shoes and just to remind myself, all right, well, this is where he's coming from. And so let's go with what he really does want to read about and learn about. Okay.
And sometimes, really quick, Kristen, it's really, sometimes we get kind of obsessed with like where my child's at and finding books that are specific to their reading level. But really what I encourage my clients to do is just encourage them to read. So maybe you're like, but you're at a 5th grade reading level and they want to read this 3rd grade book. It's okay. Like, it's okay to kind of, mesh these lines. And the most important thing is that they're reading every day. And so it doesn't really, I wouldn't put so much emphasis on the reading level and it being difficult. I also know that some of my clients' parents have been adverse to graphic novels. And I think that's another really great way to go, because I know as a person, if someone sets something in front of me and it's like a 5-page report, I'm like, whew. Okay, this is going to be a while. It's kind of like that for kids. My son did that last night. We were reading, and he was reading this book that's above his level, Flat Stanley, which we love. And then all of a sudden, there was a full page without any pictures. And he was like, okay, your turn. I was like, okay. And I read that page until we got to another page with pictures, and he grabbed it and read, no problem. So try to be in tune with some of those things that your children, if they're kind of pushing back or they're feeling overwhelmed, try to just compensate and be flexible.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. Another thing that I wanted to share this week is I ran into one of our clients and I taught her son. They have 2 twin-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and then a 13-year-old. And I taught him for more than 2 years. And then since this COVID, I haven't seen them. And I bumped into her in the chiropractic office. And she said, schooling is going great. Education is going great. I'm like, really? Well, do tell. Share, because it's not always great for me. And I'm, an educator trying to do this with my own kids, just trying to juggle. So she said that what she's done in her family is they set up a webcam, and she's a nurse and she goes to work every day, and her husband owns his own landscaping company. And so they both are out of the house, they go to work, and they webcam in with the kids, and they can see that they're on their Zoom calls with their teachers. And then they give them a list of chores. And when all of that is done, they do a little quick FaceTime of, okay, here's the kitchen that's clean. There's no dishes. Here's the table that's set ready for dinner when you guys get home. The toys are put away. They have their little checkoff list. And then they play Elf on the Shelf, but with their key that has the technology locked in a box. So they have all their video game like controllers all locked in a box. And so then when they've done all their homework and all their chores, then they tell them where the key has been hidden that day. Then they get their reward time. So, and she says really it ends up being like an hour or less of their gaming time. And so it just feels good all the way around. And I think too that the kids feel importance and significance, that they are really contributing. and they have like important jobs to do, walk the dog and feed the cat and take the garbage out. And if they don't do it, then it doesn't get done because mom and dad are busy working. So there's a real value to it that even as parents, if we have to remind them, my son, he'll help me with the garbage, but then I have to ask him to put the garbage can back under the bathroom sink and put the new garbage bag back inside the garbage. So it's a lot of reminding and continual support of what it feels like to have a job and a chore completely done. But I tell you, when I share this, Allie, with a couple of my friends in my neighborhood, they're like, my son is very similar. And it's a struggle that we all feel. And so it's just worth it, parents. Okay, you guys, I just want to be a cheerleader. And that's our goal into doing these lives, is to bring us together as a family so that you guys can post your questions. And maybe, yeah, Miss G, I have a similar thing. And when I ask my son to feed the cat, then he leaves the cat food open and then the birds and the rats get it. Or, so just not to make it a complaining situation, but to brainstorm together and collaborate together on how we can have more effective, fun learning. And I know we do get into chores and we do get into lifestyle, but so I just thought that was really cool of what one of our clients shared with me.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I think the reason that works is because they're incentivizing, right? So they're finding, okay, what is motivating my child and how do I use that to incentivize them to get these things done? So technology is an incentive and they're using it properly. They're not saying like, it's not in a negative connotation. It's positive reward and positive feedback. So it's not like this, oh, if you don't get it done, you can't do it. It's when you get this done, you get to do this. And so I think that's one thing, like there's this positive aspect. So interesting you brought it up, Kristen, because I have my two are totally different. Eric is like such a people pleaser that he will just do it and do it the right way and get it done. And then Lily on the other side of that is like just so full of energy and creative. And she's making all these cool things, but making all these messes, right, at the same time.
And so, Lily's 6, right?
Yeah. So Lily's 6, Eric's 8. And one of the things that I've noticed for organizing, and it was her idea, she wants me to write these lists for her. Oh, what are we doing today? What's our schedule? So she's intuitively knowing I'm not using my time wisely, and she wants someone to organize her, right? So and she's obviously not saying that, right? But as parents, these are the little cues that we want to pay attention to. Like, oh, write my schedule for me. Or, oh, okay, you're taking these keys away until I finish these tasks and you're checking up on it. Like, it's not a free-for-all. She's very much involved in the process. So I think that's fantastic. That's really amazing for that family. And I congratulate them on their methods.
Yeah, super in, I don't know, just troubleshooting and progressing along through this, right? Okay, so there was another thing I wanted to bring up, and then we're going to close for the day. And that is when we're trying to get our kids really to do practice over and over. One thing that Miss Sally brought up to me was that if I gave Lily a worksheet with 30 problems, it's like, it's like the energy changes, the face changes. She's tired. She's like, do I have to do this? Versus if you play a game. And so even like online games are really great for math memory and fluency. There's some really fun websites. I've been using one this week on my Zooms with ABC Ya. And they have a whole gaming section. And so just don't hesitate, you guys, to change it up. And so Allie and I are really intuitive, and we read the children's body language and behaviors, and we're going for that flow and that energy and that positive feeling first. And then when we teach them, the learning curve is exponential. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard a student or a parent say they learn more from you in an hour than they did all month in school. Because I think sometimes the kids get really suppressed as their unique individual spirit. And so they're just shut down. And so if we get them in that state and that happiness flow first, and so, let's use a game. And I think too, the trends in the homeschooling groups that I've been to with these lives and other current cutting edge things, education, I feel like is going into the gaming, developing education world. So we're going to be exploring more of these. And is there any other website you can think of for gaming, or what worked for Lily this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use Easy Peasy a lot, and she's really great. She just basically collects all of these resources, and she has a bunch of games on there that I utilize. And one of them is Martian Math, and it's a video game, but every single time you like run into a bad guy, you have to do a math problem. And exactly, and it's like it kind of doubles because they're having fun, they're doing school, they're getting their technology time, and you don't need to feel like, oh, this is bad or technology is the enemy or it's a video game, because they're really retaining it because they're enjoying it, like Kristen said. And I wanted to remind you.
That dopamine is being released in their brain. So that's one thing that we really measure is how many smiles do I get during a tutoring session or when I'm teaching? How often is that kid happy? And I can see it on their face. So yeah, go ahead.
No, I wanted you to remember not to forget to tell that amazing story about being energized. I love that with the student and the banana tree. And Kristen's going to tell you, but I just want to encourage parents to not feel like they have to, recreate school in your home. Like, you have the flexibility and freedom, and we're here to support you in just creating your own flow for school and what works best for your family. So we're here to empower you and encourage you and support you in that process, whether it's coming to free lives or reaching out to us and we can do something more in depth. But we're here, and we want this to be an Ohana of support and encouragement, because I feel like that's what we all need starting 2021. Like, let's clear the board from 2020 and start with this kind of fresh outlook on education and our children, right? Because we're not perfect. None of us are. And so we want to give them lots of grace, and ourselves too. Like, this is hard. This is big.
Yeah, this is huge. This is really revolutionary. And that is my vision for this space, is to keep making it better. And if everybody's just thinking, hey, let's just go back to the way it was. Well, kids shooting up schools and calling in bomb threats and calling in weapons to get campuses closed and school dances, canceled last minute. That's not what we want. And we don't want for 99% of kids to say their favorite thing about school is lunch and recess.
No.
All right. There's something going on there. If everything about learning, really the most fun thing is lunch and recess. We want that. We want them to have fun. So let's keep moving in the positive direction. And I know that us together as a community and us as an Ohana, that's the Hawaiian word for family, that's what we want to do here. We want to bring you all together with us to collaborate best ways of making education more fun right now, today, this week, and then take it from there and then make it even better and then make it even better, a little bit at a time. So real quick is the banana tree story, and then we're gonna close for today. Both of us have sessions, and we did do this morning, and where we had plenty of time, and now we have to teach really quick here. So I had a student, and he came down from his training for his tutoring session, and he was like pretending like he was sleeping in his room. He was like, oh yeah, I was just taking a nap. And so when I get that right away, this particular kid happens to be a rancher. I mean, everything through and through. He loves the animals. He loves being outside in the garden. And he goes, I say, you know what, let's go outside and you cut me down a banana tree and I want to see you do it. So he gets out the machete and he's telling me about it. So banana trees, he taught me this. They grow and they sprout and they have this cool bunch of bananas. Well, after that, the tree doesn't produce again. A whole nother banana tree sprouts around it, kind of like a traveling palm, like in Florida. Or anyway, so he whacks me down this whole tree. The huge tree falls, and now we're in this really happy state. I brought the book outside, and then we go into our reading and our phonics underneath the coconut tree in his backyard. So that's what you guys want to go for first too, because there is a lot of resistance. And if you're in that state and we watch their body language and we can help coach you through that, or we can talk more about that too, then there's not any learning going on. It's more resistance and more, how can I get out of this and how can I fight this, rather than, yeah, I do want to learn and I do want to read better and write better and learn my math, So
we say, let's change resistance to resilience. And so that's what we're building. That's what we want to see in our own children, and that's what we want to see in your children and all children, regardless of what academic setting that they're learning in. We want them to look at problems with resilience and know that their brain can totally figure it out, no matter what that looks like, right? Because none of us learn the same. So we want to encourage you guys to just kind of accept your children's learning styles, and hopefully we can help support you in that.
Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Sally.
Thank
Aloha.
you.
Christmas to all of our parents and our Ohana here. We're going to continue to do this more in 2021, and we look forward to our new community as we're designing it. Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.